Hey guys, it's Drew again. Today I want to share a story about how I was able to take a negative experience in this hobby that had to do with greed and just the ugly side of it and turn it into something that's just super cool and a really unique item in my collection. Let's go check it out. So my story starts back, I was about 1990, and I was still young. I mean, I was just out of high school, and I went to a card show. I actually set up at a card show. I really didn't have anything big to sell, but I knew somebody who had some stuff, and he was wanting to sell it. So we made a deal. If I set up at this little local card show, I could sell stuff for him and take a percentage or something. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and it was a small, tiny little show in a cafeteria of an elementary school. There was those types of shows were all over the place back then, and it was a lot of fun. I got to see some stuff and meet some people or whatever, and it was just as the boom was really going on, and Upper Deck was the big thing, you know, and I just remember having a good time and just setting up. But I didn't sell a whole lot, and I didn't make a whole lot of money. But I can tell you I did make 20 bucks, and the reason I know this is because of the story. So after the show was over and I'm cleaning up, this guy comes over to me who was a dealer from another booth, and he said, "Hey, look, I didn't have a really great show. I'm trying to sell something really super cheap for just 20 bucks if you're interested." And you know, that's all the money I had made in the show. And what he had was he had a baseball, and it was signed by Nolan Ryan. Well, Nolan Ryan, I mean, he had just had his 5,000th strikeout. I think maybe this was 91, maybe he had his 7th no-hitter by then, but I mean, at this point, he was in that legendary status of where he was. I was like, yeah, so I gave him the 20 bucks, and I got this ball, and I couldn't believe it. I had no autographs in my collection. Most of my collection was just the modern stuff from then, or stuff left over from a kid from the 80s, and I had the Nolan Ryan autograph baseball. This was like, I mean, it was like a Ty Cobb autograph to me. I mean, it was just like blew my mind that I could have this, and it was such a great deal. And I was pretty young and pretty stupid and naive, and I had that ball, and I proudly displayed it for quite a while. And the longer I had it, the more I would look at it, and the more I realized, like, something's off here. And this baseball, it was obviously fake. I mean, it was a forgery. Now, I don't have a picture of the ball. I don't even have, you know, a picture of the autograph or anything to show you. But when I look at it now compared to an authentic one, yeah, it was pretty bad. So, you know, shame on me, I suppose, but it just really turned my stomach to the fact that an older dealer had something and flat out lied to somebody, a young person like me who was young, naive, and he actually approached me to sell me this thing, and yeah, I did it, and I was stupid to do it, but the point is it really made me two things. It made me really upset that someone would treat somebody else that way, and it made me weary to realize I need to watch how I treat other people, and to make sure that I can give more, and whether it's knowledge or information or just compliments or whatever, and not worry about the money of it. And anyway, so I've had this ball for years and years. I'll fast forward, I don't know, about 10, 12 years ago, maybe 8, 10 years ago. I was in the middle of doing TTMs, and this was my big phase, and I put a video out about a big TTM I did with Dick Grote, and I showed that video last week, so check that out if you hadn't already. But I was doing TTMs, I was doing a lot of ball players, and one of the things is at that point I was very, very big into Net 54, which is an online baseball kind of chat room, especially for vintage and pre-war vintage. Huge amounts of knowledge. I know a lot of you guys are either on there or know about it, and part of that, one of the sections in there is on memorabilia. Well, there was a guy who is an artist, and he had a thread on there, and he would like say, "Hey guys, I'm working on this piece. What do you think?" And it was like, it was incredible. He was amazing how good of an artist he was. And so his name is Greg Krienler, and if you've never heard of him, I'm going to show just some different examples of Greg Krienler pictures, paintings that he has done. And as you can see, his detail for the lifelikeness of whether it's this this Hank Aaron or maybe this Nolan Ryan that I'm showing, or the pre-war stuff, the images, the fact that he took old black and white photographs and he would put color to them and just bring them to life. He was just incredible. And I would, you know, message him back and forth, and I wasn't friends with him or anything like that, but he was just so awesome to look at his stuff, and I could never afford his stuff. His stuff is super expensive, which it should be, and but I've always admired his detail and his openness of how his process would work and all this other stuff. And so I thought, you know what, I wanted to have an original Kreenler, but you know, I could never afford to purchase one. So what I did was I actually took that old baseball that was a forgery of Nolan Ryan on it, which was an authentic baseball, and I've got the ball here. This is the actual ball, and you can see it's an official American League ball from back then. And what I did was I cleaned it. I cleaned it off, and I ended up getting that fake Nolan Ryan autograph off. And I messaged Greg Kreenler and I said, would you be willing to sign a baseball for me if I sent you a TTM through the mail? Well, he was so excited. He said, I have never had someone request just an autograph. Like, he was so excited that somebody would do this. And I thought, really? How has nobody ever done this? So I had to explain to him how this is going to work. So I, you know, sent him a package with a baseball and a return envelope with my address, whatever. And I remember him getting it and him messaging me and saying, okay, I can write my name. What do you want me to put on it? You know, he was so excited that someone would do this. And then what do I do? And I said, well, you just sign whatever you want on it and then put it in the envelope and drop it in a mailbox. It's pre-postage and it'll come back to me. And I appreciated him doing it so much. So what he did was he did sign it, and he wrote a inscription on the bottom, and all it says is Greg Kreenler. And you can see very clearly, the painter of America's pastime, which is kind of his little catchphrase. And the fact that this is such a cool piece, I don't know if he's gotten thousands, hundreds, or still this is the only piece that he's ever had a request for an autograph. But the fact that he was so kind and genuine, he was so excited about this, like a little kid saying like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody wants my autograph. And the fact that I took, you know, the greed of somebody from years and years ago and took an old baseball that had that, it was just a kind of an ugly thing in my collection that I had, that Nolan Ryan, but I was able to take off what someone did that was wrong and send it to somebody, and it not only made my day, it made his day. And I just really, I wanted to share that story, and I think it's really cool. So yeah, check out Greg Kreenler stuff. You can Google him, and anyway, there you go. But thanks for listening. I appreciate the time you guys gave me, and next time, you guys be good.